Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be making a flashlight system. I think it's almost the most used mechanic in a horror or survival game that you will encounter. So I'll show you what we're going to be making. So when you're in the dark and it's hard to see, you can just press F on your keyboard and you have this nice flashlight that pops out. It has a small delay so it looks a bit more realistic instead of just having it locked on your cursor. So it has a small delay on it. And a nice light function material to make it look more realistic than just a spotlight. So it's a fairly simple process, so it won't be as long as a video as usual. So yeah, just let's jump right into it. All right, so we're back in the project. So to get started, let's just set up the inputs first for toggling the flashlight. I'm going to quickly add a new binding on actions. I'm going to duplicate it from jump. I'm going to call it IA underscore toggle flashlight, like so. We're going to go back and then set it on the IMC default. So we're going to add a new one. In this case, it's toggle flashlight. For the keyboard, I'm going to be using the F key. And then I also going to add one more, which is for the gamepad. Gamepad face button up, face button top, sorry. This is the, I think on controller it's the Y key, and if I'm correct, it's the triangle on PlayStation, which is the most right keys you have. So when we've set that up, we're going to go to our character here. And we're going to add two things on the character component itself. So first we're going to start off with a spring arm, like so. And on the spring arm, I'm going to add a spotlight component. And now you can see it's really far behind the character. So we're going to change that by the target arm length to 0. And then move it up just a bit and then outward. So it's like in front of the player camera, because that's where normally you want the viewport or the spotlight to shoot out from. Like so. And then for the flashlight, I am going to add a light function material. That's already imported. So if you want to have your own, you can get this from this project I'm making available on my GitHub, so you can see it in the description. If you don't like this specific one, you can check out our fab page where we have LazyDev quick effects, which comes with light function materials as well as post-processing materials. So if you didn't like this one, you can get them here, of course. There are also free versions available, so yeah, do whatever you want, or pick whatever one you like. I'm just sticking with this, which is my flashlight. Underscore flashlight spotlight. I'm making the color a bit more yellowy, so it's like a more warm yellowy color instead of just a bright white one. And then for the spring arm, also important to set use spawn control rotation. So the flashlight moves along with the player camera, like so. And now we can go back. Let me first rename this to flashlight, easier to remember. And then on the key binding, we're going to add IA underscore toggle flashlight. And then on started, we want to branch it. And then get our flashlight component. And then search for is visible. If it's visible, we want to play sound 2D, which we can copy over for false as well. The sound is going to be representing the clicking of the flashlight when you click it on or click it off. And then I'm going to add that sound real quick. It's flashlight, switch, this one. Select it here and then add it here as well. And then what we want to do here is drag out a flashlight again and then set visibility. So if the flashlight is visible, then you want to turn visibility off. If it is visible, you want to set it to on again, like so. And probably what you're going to be noticing is when you start the game, your flashlight will be on. So how to fix that? Go to your flashlight, search visibility, and then turn it off. So you start with your flashlight off. If you prefer to have it on, you can just leave it like default and it will be on when you play the game. So let's test it out. Hear this nice clicking sound. But as you probably can notice, is when you look around, it's really it doesn't have any camera lag, which means it's swaying with the camera. Now it's just stuck on here, which doesn't look really realistic to me. So there's an easy fix for it. If you go to your spring arm, you can scroll down and then you have camera lag, enable camera rotation lag. So for this instance, we're going to be enabling camera rotation lag. And we're going to change the value to 5. And then compile and save. And if we test it now, you can see when I move, the flashlight is slowly following around, which gives it a more realistic tone to it. Like so. And that's pretty much all you need to make your own flashlight system. It's fairly simple. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to have a more complex version of the flashlight, so adding a battery drain system or a holding animation for your arm that you actually see a flashlight mesh on your character, let me know. Or if you want to see something else, also do let me know. If you want to get this project I'm building on top of, you can get it on GitHub as well. So you can follow along even if you don't have followed the previous versions of the tutorials. So yeah, hope you have a great day and see you on the next video.